So we are starting with this very first topic of your JRF. So we'll be starting with the very first topic, that is the role of Indian agriculture in Indian economy, or what exact role does agriculture plays. And in order to understand that, the very first name of the topic, let's write it. Let's make things a little bit more systematic so that these videos would be notes for you all, right? I'll be sharing certain screenshots also. There is nothing to worry about. So the very first topic is role of agriculture in Indian economy. And I hope all of you are aware about the word economy and economics. The difference आप सब लोगों को पता होगा. So since it is Indian, it is having a domestic or landmark boundary, and that is why we call this as economy. Clear? So how do you see agriculture, right? How do you explain agriculture, Indian economy का agriculture को? How do you explain? If you, for example, अगर मैं आपको पूछूं, right? I'm unmuting everybody, right? मैं आप सभी लोगों को unmute कर रहा हूं. Let's go for a 5-minute discussion, then we'll start. Okay. That means I need to know actually how do you exactly see agriculture as, right? Agriculture को आप लोग देखते कैसे हैं? How do you take Indian agriculture? इसका role हमारे देश के लिए और Indian economy के लिए. How do you take this? What is the importance do you think, right? That means what are the various properties जो भी आप सुबह आज पढ़े, for example, if you want to characterize Indian agriculture, what would you like to tell actually? Yes, sir, this is the role of Indian agriculture or something like that. Yes. Let's start then.
52% of our population work in agriculture.
Can you be louder?
Sir, 52% of our population work in agriculture sector.
Okay. So almost more than half of our population is dependent on agriculture for their livelihood purposes, right? Okay. This is one very important thing. Next. Anybody else or kuch?
So rural area people mostly dependent on agriculture.
And in fact, rural area is absolutely synonymous with agriculture, right? Whenever we see, right, whenever we say this is a rural area, so by default it comes to our mind that most of the people will be engaged in agricultural and allied activity, right? Okay. What all? Next.
Sir, agriculture plays vital role in generating employment.
Yes, exactly. That is what we have already told, right? More than half of the population of India works in agriculture. Okay. Anything else?
17.5% of our GDP is contributed from agriculture.
Yes. A major chunk of our GDP is also contributed by agriculture, right? Though it is gradually decreasing, but yes, it has been contributing significantly, right?
Yes.
Okay, we'll talk about all these data sets. That means we'll start with pre-independence agriculture and we'll come to today what exactly scene of Indian agriculture is as of now. And through that, in this entire time series, we'll try to establish what role Indian agriculture has been playing, right? What it was before independence and what it is currently. And we'll try to focus more on the evolutionary aspect, how the Indian agriculture has changed, clear, and what are the current perspectives. आज के डेट में what would be the next frontiers? आगे हमें अगर जाना होगा तो what all things do we need to take care, right? We'll talk about all that. Okay, anything else somebody would like to add up? Okay, anybody? Is that all clear? There is no. Yes, please. Okay, fine. Let me show you agriculture as a altogether different thing, right? All of you know Indian economy is a mixed economy. Clear? I hope everybody is clear about it. Why? What do you mean when I say it's an Indian economy is a mixed economy, right? आप सभी लोगों को इन चीजों में कोई दिक्कत नहीं होना चाहिए. अगर है भी तो I will explain. There is nothing issue. How do we define exactly when do we call something as a mixed economy? In fact, to the field of economics, India has potentially contributed to a very diverse aspects, right? And particularly For if you talk about, right, economics is having different arenas or different areas. If you talk about particularly the development economics, that means what you understand when I say development economics, you must understand that talking about, right, the development, the entire development of the economy, and usi mein economic planning kis tarah ka tha, right? How was the economic planning, or in fact, what has been the development model of India? If I say ki Indian economy is a mixed economy, so by default it must come to your mind, yes, resource allocation mein, right? All the means of production or resources, if you say, or if, in fact, if you see, all the means of production, right? Ye sare ke sare, they have been pragmatically distributed. Understand these words because these particular words help you out in finding which one is the correct answer, right? Whenever you find question to be little confusing, you would find these particular words and you must understand the meaning of this in order to take up the right option. Though it won't be that confusing because I saw last 5 years question of JRF. It is quite simple question. There is nothing much of confusion. You should have some basic idea, right? But in fact, I will try to cater to, right, entire need of even, right, NABARD ho ya phir Reserve Bank ho ya phir UPSC ka jo bhi requirement rehta hai, will try to cover up, right? In fact, pure agriculture will be catering to that also, right? Pure general agriculture, right? Different aspects of extension and everything. But along with that, we'll put up some little bit of more importance into the economics of agriculture. So we say is Indian economy is a mixed economy because there has been a pragmatically, right, distribution in loan ka hua hai between the private sector and the public sector. Is that clear to everybody?
Yes, sir.
I hope all of you understand whenever I say private sector and public sector. Clear? Public sector, that means what? This means of production is owned by the government. Clear? Or that means it is collectively owned by the people. It is collectively owned by the citizens. For example, I will be giving an example. There is nothing to worry much. Why am I starting it this way? Because you need to see agriculture in a different perspective to actually understand, yes, this is what exactly Indian agriculture is. Sir, please add me in the meeting. Why? आपका क्या हुआ इशू सोमेश? मैं कार्ड किया हुआ है. Why are you getting out? Fine. Clear? So, ये जो private और public sector का distribution होता है. For example, we might have seen, yes, when we got our independence, right? Private sector उतना vibrant नहीं था. That is a government thought of. You take an example of steel, for example. Since India had got independence and there was an absolute need to increase the right amount of steel being produced in India, we needed to set up plants. हमें plant बिठाने का जरूरत पड़ा. लेकिन वहाँ पे steel plant बनाने के लिए शायद private sector उतना vibrant नहीं था. Neither the capital wise, neither the manpower wise. ना ही private sector के पास उतना capital था कि ये सारे capital intensive plant लगाना कोई छोटा amount नहीं होता है, right? And that is why government of India opted for this mixed economy model. Why? Because this steel industry, some steel industry would be promoted by government. That means government will be opening up steel industries. Just as you know, there is cell. There is cell. And in fact, there was Tata Steel too. Is that clear? So this cell is owned by government of India, whereas Tata Steel is a private limited company, or it was owned by the private sector. So this is what is called as your pragmatic distribution between the different resources or means of production. So when in a particular industry or any industry you take up, right, the entire industrial base is pragmatically owned but distributed between the government sector and the private sector, it is called a mixed economy. And the basis of this particular distribution was, right, there is something called as Industrial Policy Resolution 1956. This is the very first comprehensive or umbrella legislation that was carried out in the second, right, in the second 5-year plans, in fact, right, 51 से 56 का पहला 5-year plan था. So immediately in the opening of or the beginning of the second 5-year plan, we took up industrialization as the core of our motive, right, economic planning का सबसे ज़्यादा important हमने second 5-year plan में we started giving it to industrialization, and that is called as Industrial Policy Resolution. Clear? Because we could understand in the first 5 years post our independence, or in fact when we started planning it, right, our 5-year plan started from 1951. So in the very first 5-year plan, right? We didn't give that much of intent, right, attention, or we didn't have any comprehensive approach for the industrial development of the country. But we could understand those 5 years were absolutely disastrous, right? Whatever we had planned, we could never achieve that in the very first 5 years of planning. So first 5 year plan was not that at all successful, and we could understand by that time, yes, industrialization is something that can actually bring prosperity to the Indian economy. In fact, forget about the prosperity, we simply talked about autarky. And can anybody tell me what is the meaning of this autarky? Autarky means in economics, it is called as self-sufficiency, right? पहले prosperity की बात बाद में आए, सबसे पहले हमें self-sufficient बनना है. We were absolutely dependent on the entire, right, the outer world for most of our things. And in fact, यहाँ पे सबसे कोई अगर बड़ा चीज का जो सबसे ज्यादा scarcity था, that was food items, right? Food item का absolute shortage था. उसके साथ और भी सारे स्टील वगैरह का तो शॉर्टेज था, फर्टिलाइजर वगैरह का एब्सोल्यूट शॉर्टेज. एंड इनफैक्ट आप देखेंगे ये जो सेकंड 5 ईयर प्लान है, इसी टाइम में ऑल बिग आज के डेट में जो भी सारे महारत्न या फिर नवरत्न पब्लिक सेक्टर अंडरटेकिंग्स हैं, दे डेट बैक टू दिस पीरियड, राइट? दे वर फॉर्म्ड ड्यूरिंग दिस सेकंड 5 ईयर प्लान इन 56-60 अराउंड, उसी टाइम में ही सब कुछ बना. क्लियर? सो ये जब डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन इनफैक्ट जब हुआ इंडियन इकोनॉमी में कि यस, पॉलिसी प्लानर्स दे डिवाइडेड, दे थॉट ऑफ evolving a model called as mixed economy. That means both government will be investing money to create capital, as well as private sector would be also promoted and incentivized to create industry. This is called as your mixed economy. Okay, why am I all talking about all this while teaching you the role of Indian agriculture in Indian economy? Because I define Indian agriculture this a little bit different way, right? If you say yes, Indian agriculture, right, caters to the 52% of population का, right, livelihood को support करता है, right? ये लाइन्स शायद आप बहुत ज्यादा बार सुने हैं, और शायद ये चीजें थोड़ा मतलब, right, these have become, right, kind of inertia. हाँ भाई सुन के तो बोर हो चुके हैं, और शायद ये चीज बोलने से शायद you do not get that exact essence what role does agriculture plays in Indian economy. Is that clear? I try to define Indian agriculture in a different way. In fact, I call this Indian agriculture is the biggest private sector of India. Got it? Indian agriculture is the biggest private sector of India. That means a sector that employs around 52% of our population or livelihood, a sector that single-handedly contributes around 17% of our GDP. Clear? So, इतना बड़ा जो sector है, that is why I call Indian agriculture as the biggest private sector of our economy, and it has all the reason to, right, fulfill it. Perhaps whenever you go for election year, or in fact, if you talk about this particular lockdown period, right, government has been proactively promoting so that our agricultural activities are not stopped. Because unless until we get food is the basic need of human being, right? And that is just not, it is the food. The most important thing is that this caters to the livelihood of around more than half of the population of the entire country. So this is the biggest ever private sector. But unfortunately, this sector has not that, right, scaled up. जिस हिसाब से इसको scale कभी कर जाना था, शायद अब तक नहीं कर पाया. चलो, we'll talk about all that. But yes, it is not about to, right, express our remorse कि हो जाना चाहिए था, right? इस back bitching नहीं होना चाहिए. अब तक हमने जो किया है, what we were, and अब तक हमने क्या कर पाया? Let us try to get, right, थोड़ा एक evolutionary topic थोड़ा पढ़ते हैं. In the 1950s, for example, if I give you certain data, how the Indian agriculture has performed. अब तक के time में Indian agriculture, how has it performed? Indian agriculture particularly, right? I'm using my notes which I made during my preparation when I was preparing for UPSC or, right, this NABARD exam. I'm using the exact same notes. You know, right? Whenever I see these notes, right, I get a lot of energy. In fact, right, I will send you pics actually. So मैंने कल बोल रहा था कि आपको I will be sending you agricultural legislation. You can actually understand if you see me not just a, right, teacher, if you see me as a policy planner or, right, इतना कम time में sir not even belonging to agricultural sector कि how could I do it? I followed good texts. और ये जो text मैंने लिखा था, right, that is in fact a text of ICAR. अगर agriculture पढ़ना है, ICAR से बेहतर कोई थोड़ी बता सकता है in Indian perspective, right? So that is why I followed those things. and you would be surprised. This text, right, gives you a lot of essence into it, that you develop your own opinion into it कि क्या सही था और क्या गलत है, ये डिसाइड करने का एबिलिटी आपके अंदर वो भर देता है, right? So Indian agriculture has made tremendous strides, right? If you talk about the last 7 decades, right, from 1950s to 2020, right, India in fact has grown by leaps and bounds. So how has it grown actually? How the Indian agricultural sector has grown? Because if you remember the 5-year plans, right, the very first 5-year plan, सबसे पहला जो 5-year plan हमारा था कि 1951 से 56 का ये जो period था, the major challenge before the Indian government was to control prices. Clear? और price किस चीज का? You see, that was a very rudimentary form of any organized economy at that point of time, because we had rarely got our independence, maybe 2 to 3 days back, 3 years back, and उसी time वो partition वगैरह सब कुछ चल ही रहा था. Clear? तो उसी time the most important thing that was the biggest challenge for Indian economy was controlling the inflation. And at that point of time, if you date back to 1950s का अगर लाइफ का मूवी का वगैरह आप देखे होंगे, most of the time लोगों का नीड क्या था? फॉर एग्जांपल एटलीस्ट अ मिनिमम सर्वाइवल नीड था कि हाँ भाई खा पी के अच्छे से ढंग से थोड़ा एक हेल्थ अच्छा रहे, एटलीस्ट उतना तो कर पाए. नीदर देयर वाज एनी राइट बिग इंडस्ट्रीज था ही नहीं, क्योंकि जो भी इंडस्ट्री हमारा हैंडीक्राफ्ट का इंडस्ट्री था वो तो ब्रिटिश बर्बाद करके चला ही गया था ऑलरेडी. सो वी वर बिल्डिंग आवर ब्लॉक्स एट दैट वन टाइम, पर लेकिन वो बिल्डिंग राइट व्हाइल बिल्डिंग योर ब्लॉक्स यू नीड टू बी अलाइव एट लीस्ट. सो द प्राइमरी ऑब्जेक्टिव ऑफ द फर्स्ट 5-year प्लान वाज controlling the price inflation. And that inflation was because there was absolute shortage of food item. In fact, अगर आप वो right, if you right date back to around 1900 के बाद अगर 1950s तक आप देखें इंडिया का हिस्ट्री, there used to be consecutive famines. Drought condition इतना ज्यादा होता था, and in fact drought छोड़ो right, it used to scale up to something called as your famine. आप famine समझते हो? उड़िया में तो सब कोई समझते होंगे, right? नॉर्म तो दुर्भिक्ष जो टकवा है exactly. That is what. Clear? So the primary motive of government was to at least कि चलो पहले food production में how can we become sufficient? But in fact, right, India became food sufficient on a not just 1-2 साल 3 साल में नहीं बन पाया. Right? It happened only after the green revolution जब 1965-66 में हुआ. उसके बाद around 1970s में we could at least match up our domestic needs. Every time we used to be dependent on the foreign, right? Foreign aid में हमेशा हमको right हमें help लेना पड़ता था, because in order to just meet our basic food requirements. आप industrial requirements की बात तो भूल ही जाओ, सबसे पहले basic food requirement का भी right we used to be absolutely dependent, और हमारे पास उतना पैसा भी नहीं था कि simply could trade in and buying something. We were absolutely dependent on what you say कि foreign aids. There was a scheme named as PL480, if you remember. अगर किसी को ये न्यूज़ वगैरह में ये स्कीम का नाम आप कभी सुने होंगे, if you date back to the history of Indian agriculture, right? There was a scheme called as PL480, and this scheme was promoted by right United States. Clear? जो भी सारे देश में right there was absolute बहुत ही ज़्यादा फूड डेफिशिएंसी था, जिसमें टॉप शायद इंडिया ही कर रहा था उस टाइम, राइट? दैट मींस ए पर्टिकुलर कंट्री जो कि अराउंड 30-35 करोड़ का पॉपुलेशन भी कैरी कर रहा है. क्लियर? सो देयर वाज एब्सोल्यूट फूड डेफिशिएंसी, एंड दैट इज व्हाई यूएस का एग्रीकल्चर बाय दैट टाइम इट वाज एब्सोल्युटली सरप्लस फ्रॉम दैट पर्टिकुलर टाइम. तो वहां पे जो मेज प्रोडक्शन उतना ज्यादा उनका होता था, राइट? इन ऑर्डर टू अवॉइड इनफैक्ट मेज प्रोडक्शन इतना ज्यादा होता था कि इनफैक्ट उनका कंजम्पशन उतना नहीं था बिल्कुल. तो simply they used to go and dump it into the seas. वो जाके समंदर में वो सारे मेज डंप करते थे. And that is why when that particular point of time जब उन्होंने देखा कि नहीं दुनिया भर में इतने लोग भूखे भी रह रहे हैं, so they thought of a right running a charity type of scheme. And in fact, you won't right believe in PL480 scheme during the 1950s. In fact, I'm talking about 50s and 55s. Every 18 minutes, हर 18 मिनट में एक ship used to come. A ship used to leave the source of United States, and in every 28 minutes, one ship was reaching India. Can you understand the degree of the severity of our food shortage? We were absolutely dependent on America in order to feed our people. Clear? And it went on, right? From 50s, it went on till 1965. 1965 तक चला. And what is the importance of 1965? There was a war. between India and Pakistan. And all of you know, by that time, Pakistan was an ally of America. Got it? So when we attacked on Pakistan, in fact, right, we in fact counterattacked, right? United States stopped this policy कि पाकिस्तान हमारा राइट अलाई है, अगर उस पर कोई अटैक कर रहा है तो जो भी बेनिफिट्स हम दे रहे थे दूसरा पार्टी को, फॉर एग्जांपल इंडिया वाज ऑन द रिसीविंग एंड उस पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम में PL-480 वाज स्टॉप्ड बाय द यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स, राइट? हमारा रिश्ता अभी तो सुधरा है अमेरिका के साथ, इससे पहले बहुत ही खराब रिश्ता रहा, बिकॉज वी वर राइट लिटिल बिट साइडिंग फॉर आवर इंडस्ट्रियल नीड्स, वी वर साइडिंग विद USSR दैट टाइम. गॉट इट? जब ये PL-480 स्कीम बंद हुआ, इनफैक्ट there was a widespread news or there was a widespread rumor in the entire world, and in fact it was not at all a rumor, it was exactly the truth कि hundreds and lakhs of people in India will be starved. Clear? हजारों लाखों में लोग मरेंगे without food in India because we are absolutely dependent. और तब तक हमने कोई सरप्लस लेवल छोड़िए, हम सबसिस्टेंस लेवल का भी एग्रीकल्चर में नहीं पहुंचे थे कि बेसिक हमारा खाने पीने का भी नीड्स फुलफिल हो जाए. एंड जब ये PL-480 स्कीम बंद हुआ, क्लियर, मैं हमेशा बोलता हूं ना कि राइट इन द डार्केस्ट आवर यू गेट द बेस्ट थिंग इन योर लाइफ, राइट? डार्कनेस में आपको सबसे अच्छा ही चीज मिलता है हमेशा, एंड इट हैज बीन प्रूवन बाय अगेन एंड अगेन. ये बाहर राइट हमेशा से राइट बार दिस थिंग्स हैव हैपेंड, राइट? ये हिस्ट्री बार रिपीट कर ही रहा है और प्रूव होता ही रहा है. क्लियर? एंड in 1965, if you all are agriculture student and right, जो भी non agriculture student यहाँ पे, they have cleared NABARD prelims, so they know actually what happened in 1965. And if you could remember, when did Green Revolution happen? ये Green Revolution हुआ तो in 1966, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So perhaps when there was stoppage of when the PL-480 scheme was stopped by United States, right? God in fact gifted us with this green revolution when CMMYT में right MS Swaminathan is right, वो वहाँ जाते हैं मेक्सिको, right? What is CIMMYT? Who can tell me the full form of this? This is right. What do you say? It's a Spanish word actually, right? Mexico में Spanish चलता है ना language उनका, right? So who can tell me what is this CMMYT?
Center International D.
Okay, forget about that Latin full form, right? Spanish full form छोड़ दो. Internationally, what is this institution called? This institution is related to research on which particular crop?
Wheat and maize.
Yes, wheat. ये question बहुत pertinent है, right? Where is CIMMYT is located or International Wheat and Maize Research Institution कहाँ पे? It is in Mexico. So he went there, he got some hybrid high yielding varieties of seeds like Sonara 16, like Larma Rajo, all these varieties. And in fact, within a period of just 3 years, 65, 66 से लेके 1969 तक, we had from just languishing to just feed our population. By 1969, we had already become self-sufficient in food production. So can you understand the revolution that was, the scale of this revolution, or right, the benefit that was bestowed with just some seed varieties? We were absolutely in a position to feed our own population. And as of now, if you tell, right, we are already a net producer of agricultural goods. Right? This has been the basic incipient history of independent India's agricultural history. And since then, 1965 के बाद हमने तो कभी पीछे मुड़ के देखा ही नहीं. If I give you certain data, कि how actually Indian agriculture has performed, right? Let me write down some data. In 1952 में, right? We'll write down two aspects actually. कि how have we performed on the agricultural front? In 1952, the population was, कितना था population 1952 में? When we had just got our independence, कितना था population? Yes, anybody? It was 36 crore. Clear? ये नंबर थोड़ा याद रखो, बहुत मजा आएगा आपको पढ़ने में और समझने में. And 1952 में what was our food production? how much of food was being produced by India during 1951? 52 में कितना प्रोडक्शन था पता है? It was 50 million tons. Got it? But if you talk about 2007 and 8, ये थोड़ा पुराना डॉक्यूमेंट है, but in order to understand how Indian agriculture has actually performed, perhaps this is the best document to deal with. The population of India from 36 crore, it has already, by 2007 and 8, we had already 120 crore population, yes or no? Yes or no? Clear? And can you imagine by 2007 and 8, what was our production, agricultural production कहाँ पहुँच चुका था? It was already, ये 120 नहीं 115 crore, 110 crore के आसपास था. We had already reached 230 million tons. So you see, there has been an increase of ये population 36 crore को 110 crore पहुंचा. That means approximately 3 times बढ़ा है. Whereas हमारा food production का जो multiplication factor है, that is very close to 5 times. So in fact, within this particular period in last 6 decades, from 50 to right 2000 अगर 7 8 आपने 10 की भी बात आप लें, our population had grown threefold, but we had been able to increase our food production by 5 times. And who can tell me 2019 का as per the right official data, 2019 में who can tell me it has been a bumper crop year actually. Never India has witnessed such big level of food production. आज तक इंडिया का भी अपने हिस्ट्री में कभी नहीं किया उतना प्रोडक्शन. Who can tell me 2019 का what is the estimate of food production? It is very close to 291 million tons. Got it? So in fact, in last 7 decades, we have already multiplied, right? In fact, we have increased our food production by almost 6 times. Means there has been a growth of around 500% in over last 70 years. So yes, Indian agriculture has performed really well, but yes, there are certain primary lacunae. Income aspect उतना कभी नहीं बढ़ा है because of a burgeoning population, right? Farmer का income उतना significantly नहीं बढ़ा है. We'll take into that, right? We'll take up all that. Clear? So this is what the Indian agriculture has been from independence to this date. Clear? And that is why, since Indian economy is a mixed economy, and out of that private sector में सबसे बड़ा जो sector होता है वो agriculture है. That is why many elections, many decisions, and in fact entirely our livelihood और हम right हर इंडियन का लाइफ में एग्रीकल्चर एक बहुत important role play करता है. Clear? And that is why it is an altogether different view you might have maybe got through this lecture. Is that clear? I hope all of you could see exactly how Indian agriculture has performed. Yes or no? And in fact, the success has been quite good. In fact, it has been satisfactory. And I cannot tell maybe it is very good, but yes, it has been very successful or very, very satisfactory. At least as of now, in last 50-60 years, we have become a net producer of agricultural commodities. And आप सभी को पता भी होगा, right? We are the top most number 1 in production of milk. आज के डेट में India tops in milk production and in fact second position in wheat production and in fact perhaps third position in rice production. I do not exactly remember the sequence, but yes, एक तो milk में तो है ही milk और along with that spices production में India top में आता है. Yes or no? We'll take up all the data. हम latest data सब कुछ लेंगे because मैंने कुछ देखा. Certain figures or terminology are related to all that. Is that clear? If you have any doubt, you can ask here. I'm pausing, right? अगर कुछ doubt है तो आप पूछ सकते हैं कहीं. Yes, Payal. Doubt कीजिए अच्छी.
No, sir.
Yes. Anybody else? Yes.
No, sir.
तो ये सारे नंबर्स थोड़ा भी आप याद रखो. क्लियर? क्यों बोल रहा हूँ? बिकॉज यू सी इट इज इम्पोर्टेंट सो दैट आप अगर इन सभी चीजों को याद रखते हैं, राइट, तो थिंग्स बिकम क्वाइट इजी फॉर यू ऑल टू कैरी ऑन। आपको कैरी करना बहुत इजी हो जाता है एक्चुअली। एंड फॉर दैट पर्टिकुलर पर्पस ओनली, उसी पर्पस के लिए वी नीड टू रीड एग्रीकल्चर एज ए ऑल टुगेदर डिफरेंट एस्पेक्ट। क्लियर? now let us understand into yes, as of now, आज के डेट में इंडियन एग्रीकल्चर इंडियन इकोनॉमी में क्या रोल प्ले करता है, राइट? आई होप all of you are little bit aware about the various facts or certain right ideas relating to gross domestic product। शायद सबको थोड़ा बहुत आइडिया होगा व्हाट इज जीडीपी एग्जैक्टली। एक इकोनॉमी में एक साल में जो भी एंटायर चीजें प्रोडक्शन होता है, अगर उसका मॉनेटरी वैल्यू आप निकाल लें, दैट इज कॉल्ड एज योर जीडीपी। क्लियर? एंड currently who can tell what percent of GDP of India is contributed by the agriculture and the allied sector? कितना परसेंट कंट्रीब्यूट करता है इंडियन एग्रीकल्चर? Who can tell?
17.5।
Anybody? ये क्वेश्चन था आपका पहले लास्ट ईयर क्वेश्चन, आप देखिएगा वो ऑप्शन तब तक 15% था, बट इट वाज रॉन्ग। एग्जैक्ट उतना नहीं है। इट इज करंटली इट इज कंट्रीब्यूटिंग अराउंड 17%। ठीक है, अगर ऑप्शन आपके पास 15 और 17 है, you should go with the option of 17% because it is more accurate. Clear? Now, when I say yes, it is contributing 17% of GDP of India. Who can tell me what is the current GDP of India? आज के डेट में इंडिया का जीडीपी का फिगर क्या है? इन टर्म्स ऑफ यूएस डॉलर आप बोलिए, अगर आप रुपीज में बोलना चाहेंगे तो बोल सकते हैं, एनी करेंसी। What is the current GDP of India? 2.7
2.72 lakh crores USD
रुपीज या फिर डॉलर?
USD dollars
2.7 lakh crore dollars. Okay, and this lakh crore is called something else. This is also called as trillions. ठीक है, 1 lakh crore is called trillion. Clear? So if you express that in US dollars, it is 2.7 trillions. Is that clear? Now Prime Minister Modi has been, right, before this corona and everything, right, he had been punching for one thing, that is $5 trillion economy. Clear? $5 trillion economy by which year?
2025.
By 2025. Now tell me, nominally Indian economy should grow. It should grow at what percentage? इंडियन इकोनॉमी को आगे जो भी साल बचे, अभी 2020 है, so approximately we have 5 years. At what percentage the Indian economy should constantly grow in order to reach a $5 trillion economy? Calculate and tell me. If it is currently $2.7 trillion economy, we need to reach $5 trillion economy, and we have a period of 5 years. So what would be the rate of growth, consecutive कितना rate of growth maintain करके रखने से by 2025 we can reach a $5 trillion economy? Try, please find out and tell me. It comes out to be like this, कि 2.7 into x factor, whatever we have read in maths, right, to the power 5, and it's equal to 5. Got it? In fact ये 5 साल नहीं भाई, ये 2000 कितना ईयर क्या चल रहा है? What is the year currently? Are we left with 5 years?
20.
Huh? Are we left with 5 years? What do you think?
4 years.
4 years.
No, actually we are left with 5 years. Okay, जब ये बात शुरू हुआ तो तब तो 5 साल का ही. Okay, so it comes out to be around 12%. ठीक है? अगर आप इसका रिजल्ट अगर कैलकुलेटर में मार के या फिर कभी सॉल्व करके देखें, तो आपको ये पता चले कि यस, इंडियन इकोनॉमी शुड नॉमिनली ग्रो एट ए रेट ऑफ 12% एनुअली if it wishes to achieve this 5 trillion figure by the end of 2025. Clear? Now, If this is the nominal rate of growth, अगर ये nominal rate of growth होना है, what would be the real growth? इसको real growth कितना maintain करना है? And what do we need to assume? हमें assume कितना करना है inflation? As per the Reserve Bank mandate, Reserve Bank का mandate क्या है inflation का? Around 4%. अगर हम ये मान के चलें कि आगे 5 साल 4% inflation रहेगा, then what if nominal growth 12% चाहिए, so what is the real growth that we need to maintain? 12% minus 4%, that is we need to maintain a real growth of 8% consistently for next 5 years if we ever wish to achieve this $5 trillion figure. Clear? ये कैलकुलेशन में किसी को कुछ दिक्कत है? जिसको भी दिक्कत है, थोड़ा ये इन्फ्लेशन वाला टॉपिक we have in our classes, right? YouTube में है. Please understand what you understand when it is nominal growth and what is real growth. Clear? ये आपके लिए नहीं उतना जरूरत है, but still I am telling it because right you need to understand everything. ये चीजें आपको दिक्कत भरा नहीं होना चाहिए आगे. 1 घंटा मुश्किल से 45 मिनट चाहिए आपको वीडियो देखने के लिए. You just see it, the inflation topic जो है, right? वहाँ पे real growth, nominal growth सब कुछ है वहीं पे, right? You can understand it where कि अगर 4% का inflation अगर रहे, if the nominal rate required is 12%, right? Then why do I need to negate this 12% with 4% so that I reach a real growth rate of 8%? रोशन समझ में आ रहा है आपको? भारती समझ में आ रहा है आपको? Yes, Roshan.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Fine. So you can understand what is the importance of everything. ये बिल्कुल एक ही स्लाइड में we talked about something called as compound interest, we talked about something called as inflation, and we talked about something called as real growth. So you cannot avoid anything. That is what I need to say actually. Clear? तो इन सभी चीजों का आइडिया आपको होना बहुत जरूरी है. There is nothing to worry. Comprehensively पढ़िए, धीरे धीरे you can start taking things. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
तो ये 5 ट्रिलियन इकोनॉमी जो हम पहुंचना कभी चाहते हैं, if we ever wish to achieve this $5 trillion economy, then agriculture would, right? Agriculture in fact needs to play a very important role. Agriculture important role इसको play करना है. Why so? Because you see, there are two things actually. One thing is called as your economic growth. Understand this particular thing very well. There is something called as economic growth, and something else is called as economic development. There are two things. One is called as your economic growth. The other one is called as the economic development. ये दोनों चीजें अलग हैं. Clear? हैं क्या? Let us understand. What is the particular difference between them? Let us understand. What do you understand when I say economic growth? Growth in there is when there is any increase in GDP of any country. कोई भी country का जब right उसका GDP बढ़ जाता है, right? We simply call this as yes, there has been economic growth. That means what? If you talk about a particular, for example, कोई एक छोटा मोटा factory था, what it was producing earlier, it was producing, for example, 100 kg of biscuits, or 1 kg of biscuit का दाम, for example, if you take up 50 rupees, right? Are you getting it? So its GDP was 5,000. Clear? Now simply it is producing now 200 kg. Maybe let's take the price उतना ही. So now it is coming to be 10,000. So there has been an increase in GDP. Likewise, एक इकोनॉमी का जीडीपी, फॉर एग्जांपल आज के डेट में इंडियन इकोनॉमी का जीडीपी $2.7 ट्रिलियन है. अगर ये थोड़ा आगे बढ़ के $3 ट्रिलियन या फिर आगे जाके $5 ट्रिलियन बन जाता है, we call simply this as economic growth. But what is the difference between this economic growth and this economic development? इन दोनों में बेसिक डिफरेंस क्या है? It is just not about increasing the GDP. Clear? बस जीडीपी ही ग्रोथ आ जाए, जीडीपी में ही ग्रोथ आ जाए, इट इज नॉट ऑल दैट अबाउट. व्हाट इज डेवलपमेंट? इन फैक्ट डेवलपमेंट मीन्स इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ, जिसमें इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ भी हो, क्लियर, प्लस इंप्रूवमेंट इन ह्यूमन इंडिकेटर्स. क्लियर? इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ के साथ साथ दैट मीन्स आपका जीडीपी का भी ग्रोथ हो, लेकिन बस जीडीपी का ही ग्रोथ नहीं, उसके साथ साथ जो भी सारे ह्यूमन इंडिकेटर्स हैं. एंड दिस इज व्हाई इकोनॉमिक डेवलपमेंट वर्ड डिफाइन करना उतना इजी नहीं होता है, बिकॉज यू कैनॉट नेम और you cannot enumerate all the human indicator. That means what exactly am I taking? What do I mean in fact whenever I say human indicator? It is health. लोगों का हेल्थ बेटर हो, लोगों का एजुकेशनल अटेनमेंट बेटर हो, राइट? पीपल वुड बी मोर हैप्पी, द एनवायरनमेंट इज बेटर. सो दीज आर ऑल ह्यूमन एस्पेक्ट्स, राइट? सो जब इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ होने के साथ साथ जब ह्यूमन इंडिकेटर का भी ग्रोथ होता है, पीपल आर मोर हेल्दी, पीपल आर मोर एजुकेटेड, पीपल आर मोर हैप्पी, फॉर एग्जांपल people are having, right, getting a better environment, and all these things, these all things when added up with economic growth के साथ साथ जब ये भी चीजें अचीव होने लगता है, we call something as economic development. Clear? Now you tell me which one is more important, just economic growth? I don't think that is that much. Yes, economic growth is important, but this is not the entirety, right? इसके साथ और भी कुछ होना बहुत जरूरी है. You think, right? आप you just imagine of a situation. कोई एक मिस्टर एक्स था जिसका महीने का कमाई 10,000 तक है. उसका आज के डेट में उसका कमाई तो 20,000 हो गया. That means he has increased 100%, मतलब डबल कर ही लिया अपना इनकम. लेकिन ना ही वो ज्यादा एजुकेटेड कोई उसका फैमिली में बना है, ना ही लोगों का जो हेल्थ कंडीशन था वहां पे, ना उसका फैमिली में कोई हेल्थ इंप्रूवमेंट हुआ है, और ना ही दे आर मोर हैप्पी. मतलब ये सारे जो ह्यूमन इंडिकेटर्स है ना, उनमें कोई इंप्रूवमेंट नहीं हुआ है. डू यू थिंक डज दिस मीन समथिंग मोर? ये 10,000 हो, 20,000 हो, या फिर 50,000 भी हो भी जाए, they do rarely mean anything. And exactly that is why economic growth is not everything. It is, yes, it is necessary, because unless until you have economic growth you cannot have development. लेकिन economic development is the sole purpose that the society looks for, or even any government entire law strives for. और ये सारे के सारे how does economic growth और economic development के बीच इन दोनों में क्या relationship है? There are two beautiful theories, and in fact India has contributed seriously in order to establish the most acceptable model today that is being practiced in almost the entire developing economy of the world. Let us understand what was the very first theory. The very first theory relating to economic growth and development was called, as you understand and remember these theories, this theory named was, this was called as trickle down theory. Clear? And ये trickle down theory का मतलब क्या था? It said simply, right, trickle down मतलब क्या होता है? आप देखे होगा ना, for example water droplet जब ऊपर से नीचे गिरता है, that means for example आपके घर में कोई, right, earthen pots वगैरह होगा, थोड़ा बहुत जब लीक होता है या फिर कुछ थोड़ा सा पानी ऊपर से, right, it percolates downward, वहाँ पे ड्रिप होता रहता है. That dripping is called trickling down. That means what does this theory? Now you just focus on economic growth. आप इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ में ही बस फोकस करें. लोगों का जो डेवलपमेंट की बात आप कर रहे हैं, जो इकोनॉमिक डेवलपमेंट की बात कर रहे हैं, दैट वुड हैपन ऑटोमेटिकली. आपको कुछ करना नहीं पड़ेगा, ऑटोमेटिकली थिंग्स वुड हैपन. लोगों का बस जब जैसे ही इनकम बढ़ेगा तो उनका हेल्थ बेटर हो जाएगा, दे वुड गेट ए बेटर एनवायरनमेंट, उनके घर में लोग ज्यादा पढ़ना चालू करेंगे, एवरीथिंग, ऑल द ह्यूमन इंडिकेटर्स वुड बी इंप्रूव्ड ऑटोमेटिकली. And this theory remained in existence, and in fact it was very powerful. See, because unless until China started developing in 1970s. जब तक 1970s का बात हुआ नहीं था, ये इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ एंड डेवलपमेंट बहुत पुरानी चीज है, ये कुछ बहुत नया चीज नहीं है. दो डेवलपमेंट गॉट ए लेटेस्ट, राइट, और डेफिनेशन उसको थोड़ा ज्यादा मिला है, उसको थोड़ा इंपोर्टेंस ज्यादा मिला है, but the intention behind growing or improving was like that. You just focus on your income, और सारे बाय साइड बाय थिंग्स, ऑल दीस ह्यूमन इंडिकेटर्स, दे ऑटोमेटिकली इंप्रूव. ऐसा assumption पहले था. but it failed miserably explaining the misery in China. चाइना में जीडीपी का ग्रोथ भयानक रेट से हुआ. There was a time जब उन्होंने स्ट्रक्चरली सब कुछ रिफॉर्म किया, उनका जीडीपी ग्रोथ रेट हुआ अराउंड 14-15%. उनका जीडीपी डबल होने में उनको राइट मैक्सिमम टू मैक्सिमम उनको राइट 4-5-6 साल में उनका जीडीपी डबल हो ही रहा था. बट व्हेन इट वाज एनालाइज्ड दैट कि ये जीडीपी तो भयानक रेट से बढ़ ही रहा है, बट देयर हैज बीन नो मच ऑफ ग्रोथ. उनके ये जीडीपी बढ़ा किसके लिए? बिकॉज पीपल वेर इन्वॉल्व. लोगों ने काम किया, लोगों ने अपना पैसा इन्वेस्ट किया, लोगों ने फैक्ट्रीज में काम किया. लोग अर्लियर द फार्मर दैट ही वाज स्टीलिंग अराउंड 1 acre of land, now he is putting in more efforts. Now he is stealing 10 acres of land. So everything was made possible because of the citizens, but ultimately the benefit of this economic growth did not trickle down automatically to the lower strata of the society. And that is where the growth story of China, or in fact the beginning of the misery of China, right, opened up many loopholes of this particular theory. कि yes, ऐसा बिल्कुल भी नहीं होता है. इकोनॉमी आप बस ग्रोथ में ही फोकस करेंगे तो बाय डिफॉल्ट दैट कैन नॉट गारंटी. दैट मींस ये ट्रिकल डाउन थ्योरी का गारंटी क्या था? यू जस्ट फोकस ऑन इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ, आपका डेवलपमेंट गारंटीड है, वो ऑटोमेटिक होगा, आपको कुछ करना नहीं पड़ेगा. बट इट फेल्ड मिजरेबली व्हेन चाइना शोड इट्स वेज, बिकॉज़ देयर वाज अ रैपिड ग्रोथ ऑफ द जीडीपी. इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ तो हो ही रहा था, but there was rarely any development in the human indicator. That means there was no economic development. There was growth, but there was no development. Got it? Now, in the meantime, perhaps this is the biggest gift of the Indian economy to the entire world, or in fact the development history of the world. Yes, trickle down theory cannot sustain all the accesses, right? हर जगह पे trickle down theory follow नहीं करता है, and particularly it fails miserably when the country that it is implementing is not a developed economy. जब ये इकोनॉमी एक डेवलप्ड इकोनॉमी नहीं है तो ये मॉडल वहां पे काम नहीं करता. और आपको ये पता होगा कि इन राइट वर्ल्ड का मेजॉरिटी ऑफ द पॉपुलेशन लिव्स इन द डेवलपिंग एंड अंडर डेवलप्ड कंट्रीज. अगर इकोनॉमी एक साइंस है, इट इज फॉर ह्यूमन बीइंग्स इन ऑर्डर टू अंडरस्टैंड ह्यूमन बिहेवियर. लेकिन अगर इकोनॉमी का सबसे बड़ा जो थ्योरी हो सकता है कि हाउ पीपल बिकम मोर प्रॉस्परस, लोग कैसे और अच्छा लाइफ लीड करें अल्टीमेटली, अगर वही थ्योरी फेल कर जाए, perhaps economy looks right, economic theories look absolutely futile, useless लगता ही है. And in the meantime, in fact, India gave the biggest ever gift it could ever, right? In fact, it could ever give to the entire right development theory of the world, and that particular theory was called as inclusive growth theory. ये word आप बहुत बार सुन रहे होंगे. This is called as inclusive growth theory. There is growth term in this particular word, but what is the meaning of this particular inclusive? What do you understand when I say कि inclusive growth? This growth has to be inclusive. आप ये word बहुत बार सुने होंगे. But what exactly it means? The statement of this particular theory, there is no clear-cut statement. But yes, on the summary end, we can say it this way: कि it says कि economic growth cannot guarantee, it doesn't guarantee economic development. Economic growth doesn't guarantee economic development, but yes, if you wish to get economic development, अगर आप economic development चाहते हैं तो economic growth आपको तो चाहिए, that is mandatory, because आपका income ही नहीं बढ़ेगा तो you cannot provide somebody with a better health facility, you cannot send your children to school. आप जिस लेवल का स्कूल में आप पढ़े हुए हैं, शायद अगर आपका इनकम नहीं बढ़ा तो आप अपने बच्चों को उससे बेहतर स्कूल आप कभी नहीं भेज पाएंगे. Economic growth is mandatory, but economic growth is not sufficient, right? Data sufficiency का क्वेश्चन आपने किया होगा, right? Economic growth is mandatory, it is needed. Without that, there is no possibility of economic growth. But economic growth only is not sufficient to guarantee you economic growth, economic development. अगर आप economic development चाहते हैं, बस इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ आपको गारंटी नहीं कर पाता, जो कि पहले ट्रिकल डाउन थ्योरी कहता था. बस यू फोकस ऑन इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ, आपका डेवलपमेंट हो ही जाए. इंक्लूसिव थ्योरी, इंक्लूसिव ग्रोथ थ्योरी that was proposed or that was modeled in India, it proposed it this way: yes, you need economic growth for development, but if you ever wish to achieve कि the benefits of economic growth reach the lowest strata of the society, you need to take targeted action. आपको टारगेटेड एक्शन लेना पड़ेगा इफ यू विश टू एंश्योर कि इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ का बेनिफिट इकोनॉमिक डेवलपमेंट भी बने. ऑटोमेटिकली नहीं होगा. You need to take targeted action, or we call this as targeted intervention. And whose role is this? This is the role of a government or the policy planner, those who frame economic policies. And perhaps this model is now accepted world over because other than set handful of countries, right? Kuch countries ko chhod ke, most of the population of the world lives in the developing economies, and it has been proving and it has been doing wonders. And perhaps this is the biggest ever gift of Indian economic system to the rest of the world. Yes, economic growth ho chahiye hi, that is mandatory, but it is not sufficient. Economic growth ho jane se you cannot ensure ki economic development by default automatic hota hi chale. You need to take intervention, right? You need to take targeted कुछ action आपको लेना पड़ेगा कि जब आपका economic growth हो रहा है उसी point of time में right, somebody who was responsible to attain that growth, he also get all the benefits. Got it? And that is I am giving one example. You see, Indian financial system, right? India एक underdeveloped poor economy से बढ़ के आज के डेट में world का almost 5-6 position में हमेशा रहता है, right? In fact, we have grown by leaps and bounds. But still, आज के डेट में भी, right, before maybe 3 to 4 years, right, majority of the rural population was dependent on, right, firewood. They didn't have a bank account. Why this Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana was called as a financial inclusion plan? Because though on a overall basis, if you talk about the Indian banking system or the Indian financial system, it has matured beyond its expectation. ये बहुत ही अच्छा level पे mature कर चुका था. But economic growth तो हुआ है. Stock markets have become vibrant. So many private banks, they're performing so well. People are getting wealthier. लोगों का right wealth creation हो रहा है. But ये सारा का सारा activity में जो involved था, everybody is not getting the benefit. कुछ लोगों को ही बस benefit मिल रहा है, and somebody is absolutely devoid of these minimal basic right facilities. Only when you have a bank account you can access the financial system. अगर आप घर के पास से किसी से राइट पैसा मांगने जाएं, वो आपको बोले कि महीने का आपको 5% इंटरेस्ट देना पड़ेगा. Whereas if you go to a bank would say you just give us 6% interest and take for 1 year. Are you getting it? So ये चीजों को ये जो पॉलिसी जो बैंक अकाउंट खुलाने का जो प्लान चलाता, स्कीम चलाता कि प्रधानमंत्री राइट जनधन योजना, why was it called as a financial inclusion? Because this inclusion word itself says कि you should take certain actions wherein there has been economic growth, but इसका बेनिफिट हर किसी को पहुंचे. The lowest strata of the society के पास वो बेनिफिट पहुंचे, ऐसा कुछ एक्शन होना बहुत जरूरी है. And that is why the scheme name was called as your financial inclusion. Clear? So this is the entire setup of economics, the role of agriculture, and the historical perspective of Indian agriculture. So I will be sharing you notes on that. You need to remember certain data, right? Understand, you have to remember so many things. There are various ICAR affiliated institutes. बहुत सारे दुनिया भर, इंडिया भर में इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ राइट ICAR और बहुत सारे इंटरनेशनल इंस्टीट्यूशन हैं जिनका हेडक्वार्टर और वो कहाँ पे लोकेटेड है वो आपको जानना बहुत जरूरी है. So I am sending you a note now, right? मैं कुछ ही टाइम आपको सेंड कर दे रहा हूँ. You just simply try to mug up. बस याद कर रखने का कोशिश करो, राइट? कॉटन का रिसर्च सेंटर कहाँ पे है? शुगर कैन रिसर्च सेंटर कहाँ पे है? शुगर कैन ब्रीडिंग सेंटर कहाँ पे है? Are you getting? एरोमेटिक रिसर्च सेंटर कहाँ पे है? So एक क्वेश्चन आते ही रहते हैं, हर एग्जाम में आएंगे आपको, राइट? So these are the things. International, for example, you can tell me where is IARI located? International Rice Research Institute कहाँ पे है? Who can tell me? Let me unmute you all. Give me a minute. Okay. Now who can tell me where are these institutions located? I'm asking you all one by one. If anybody knows, आप बताओ हमको. Right? Who can tell me where is International Rice Research Institute is located? Where is it?
Philippines.
Philippines.
Okay. Manila, right? And what is the name of that particular place? Do you know? To be little bit more specific, किसी को पता है?
Benus.
Minor.
Sorry?
Banus. Philippines Banus.
Labanos. Okay. And International Rice Research Center IRR institution, right? इसका एक इंडिया में भी सेंटर खुला है, पता है किसी को? Clear? Where is it located? Do you know? Sorry, Katak. No, Katak is CRRI located. IARI रो गोटे इंडिया सेंटर खुलीची. This could be a potential question. It is located in Varanasi. ठीक है? एंड ये वाराणसी रे बनारस रे को कैंपस भितरे खोलची? Does somebody know? कोडी खोलची? वाराणसी तो खोलीची, but it is a bigger institution. ता भितरे एटा खोलीची एक्चुअली. ये आपका आज का होमवर्क है, ठीक है? फाइंड इट आउट.
IIHR.
सॉरी,
IIVR.
फुल फॉर्म?
Indian Institute of Vegetable Research.
नो. ये आपका होमवर्क है, ढूंढ लो आज, ठीक है? ओके. वेयर इज ICRISAT लोकेटेड?
And Hyderabad.
व्हाट इज द फुल फॉर्म?
International
Crop Research Institute of Semiarid Tropics.
सॉरी, once again.
Institute for Semiarid Tropics.
Institute for Semi-Arid Tropics.
International Crop Research Institute for Semiarid Tropics.
Okay. Then what is semi-arid tropic? What is this particular term related to? This is related to your agrometeorology. समझ रहे हैं? जो meteorology है ना, ये उसी का portion है कि when do you say something as arid, what is called as semi-arid? Clear? Fine. Can somebody tell me full form of CGIAR? CGIAR. Actually, ICRISAT is an institution of CGIAR, ठीक है? And to be exact, ये हैदराबाद का पटानचेरू में है, ठीक है? This is very close to your National Police Academy. I have been there many times. आप वहां पे घुस जाओगे ना, आपको लगेगा कि मैं इंडिया में नहीं हूँ. I'm somewhere else. Clear? Okay. So, what is the full form of CGIAR? ये भी आज आपका होमवर्क है, ठीक है? यही सारे क्वेश्चंस होंगे. मैं जितना देख रहा था ना तो क्वेश्चन, तो क्वेश्चन वुड बी लाइक दिस ओनली. Very very simple, but you need to have good information on it. Clear? ये जो मैंने बोला ना आपको IRRI फिलीपाइंस, ये भी CGIAR का ही बॉडी है. Okay, who can tell me where is International Potato Research Center is located? International Potato Research Center or institution, I do not know full form क्या है, but Potato Research Center, International Potato Research Center कहाँ पे है?
South America.
It is located in Peru.
Yes, sir.
Got it? यही सारे क्वेश्चन ही आएंगे आपके एग्जाम में. So don't worry, I will provide you everything. बस रट्टा मारना चालू करो, ठीक है? कुछ याद तो रखना पड़ेगा ही. So better अगर day 1 से ही रट्टा मारना चालू कर लें तो बीच-बीच में थोड़ा बहुत रिवीजन भी हो ही जाएगा. Clear? You can tell me where is sugarcane breeding center is located in India? Indian, right? ICAR का sugarcane breeding center कहाँ पे है?
Coimbatore.
Yes, exactly, Coimbatore. But where is sugarcane research center located?
Lucknow.
Yes. Clear? So these all things you need to remember actually. ये आप ही के एग्जाम में आएंगे और नाबार्ड के तो पक्का आते हैं सब. ठीक है? So this is all about today. Okay. So tomorrow we will take up certain other aspects. ठीक है? Tonight I am preparing a routine. I will be sharing that in group. If you have any query, you can put in on, right? So we'll be taking classes 2 times a day, 1 hour in the morning, maybe 1 hour in the evening, so that we can cover up the entire syllabus. ठीक है?
Yes, sir.
Okay. नाइस, थैंक यू ऑल ऑफ यू। डू रिवाइज। मैंने जो भी देखा ये वीडियो इमीडिएटली आप लोग देख के एक बार यू मेक अप योर नोट्स। मैं वो स्क्रीन में जो भी लिखता हूँ ना वो भी आपका नोट्स है। In fact, I'll be sharing that, right? मैं वो शेयर करूंगा ही। There is nothing to worry about. Clear? This is all about. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.